Hey guys, in this video I just want to do a quick overview of everything we've done for the song. By right now you should know at least the basics for how to pull a song together and be able to practice it on your own so that you can practice Spanish in an immersion style all by yourself. I've done the process for you, and now I just want to go through the whole process again with you so that you feel extra comfortable with this process of practicing Spanish with songs. So we're going to go ahead and start here. I've got all my tabs up here, so as you can see up top, I'm giving you my full screen just so that you can look into exactly what I'm doing and how I'm going about this process. Now, obviously, when I'm practicing, I'm not going to have all of these tabs open, but for the sake of getting it all set up so that you know how to navigate things and kind of as a review, I want to go through everything at the same time. So, number one most important thing in this course is to be able to practice the sounds efficiently. So I'm going to go ahead and first get to the Spanish sounds. Okay, so we know that whenever there's a bracket around a symbol, we know that that is a sound. It's the symbol for a sound. And a lot of Spanish sounds are very easy. Okay, so we see like the P sound, the P. Okay, so that's easy. Okay, we already know how to do that and we don't need to practice that. However, sounds like the T and the D and the S sound in certain contexts and the R sounds in certain contexts are completely different than English. And also the B, D, and G sound that are softer. There's a bunch of them in Spanish that you need to practice in context. And so that's partly why we're doing this. And so before you can move on to the song, you have to be able to know how to say individual words by themselves correctly so that you can move on to a song that has a bunch of phrases that's speaking really fast. Obviously, that's a harder level, so you want to get this down first. So, go through all the sounds, re-watch my video with how to pronounce all of these sounds, send in recordings, and get feedback from me, or whether it's from me or another Spanish speaker. All right, the second part would be to learn the pronunciation consonant vowel chart. So this is taking all of those sounds and combining them with vowels. And I call this the building blocks of language because it's a lot of these are just like syllables, right? So once you know these, it's kind of like learning all of the exceptions for the spelling and how to pronounce everything in context. So if you know how to pronounce these correctly, then you know how to pronounce every word in Spanish correctly, and that's really important. So that's our first goal, right? So learn these, listen to my video, rewatch it. Maybe a good way to do it would be to have either my YouTube video open or this video open in this course in the car, for example, and just repeat after me and keep going with this practice. All right, the second step will be to practice splitting up the text into syllables. So I'm going to go ahead and show you here what that looks like. First, you're going to go ahead and go to this website so that you can type in that special symbol right here to be able to connect vowels and also S and vowel. Okay, so I've practiced this with you a little bit, but obviously you're going to want to get your text first. So let me back up a little bit and show you the lyrics for the song. On Hamendo, the website where you can get songs, or most songs in general out there that you want to practice, they have the text or the lyrics there for you. So you can go ahead and copy and paste that into a document like I have here, all of them, and then split it up into syllables as I have right here. Obviously, I'm not going to go through that whole process of splitting up syllables, but split up the syllables so that you know exactly how to pronounce every single phrase. Okay, so the point of this is not necessarily so that you know how to pronounce every syllable, which you're doing in the consonant vowel chart up here, but it's actually in order to be able. You're doing this in order to mix the syllables together correctly, and you're going to use a metronome in order to do that. Okay, so first get a text with an audio, obviously. And then next part of that same step is to split up that text into syllables. And you're going to use this tool, ipa.typeit.org, and then you're going to click full, and it'll come up to here, and you type in whatever you want, and click your tools, and you'll go ahead and do that, and you'll have your text fully split up into syllables. All right, the next step will be to pronounce everything correctly and extremely slow at the beginning. Okay, so I have the text split up here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to split up every single syllable and be able to pronounce it correctly. Now, this is huge because in order to be able to mix everything together, you need to be able to say everything one at a time. And in order to do this efficiently, you need to be able to check yourself and have feedback for yourself. That's why I'm here. That's why I made this course, is to be able to show you that direction and be able to give you that personal feedback. If it's not me, then ask a different native Spanish speaker or another fluent Spanish speaker so that you can check to make sure that you're saying all of these correctly. The more that you practice incorrectly, okay, you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay, but it's having that feedback that's really important. So if you continue to practice incorrectly, then that habit is going to stick with you, and it's going to be harder to dig up later on. So please have good habits, I beg you. All right, so pronounce everything correctly, start really slow, and then move to fast. And a clue that I gave you guys is to actually use a metronome. One thing that I've found really useful with my students is to be able to use that metronome on your phone, so you can download it from whatever app store that you have. My app is called Pro Metronome. I'm sure there's other ones, but go ahead and find that application for either your phone or computer, and it just sounds something like this. So this is 100 beats per minute, and I'm just gonna turn up the volume here. Okay, and then on every beat, I'm going to say one syllable. Now, the hardest part of this is being able to mix syllables together that are in between words, all within one beat. Go ahead and practice that, but make sure you practice it very slowly. So maybe you take it at 50 beats per minute. I know that's extremely slow, but it's really good to start slow, have good habits, and then work your way up from there so that you can have that progression. Okay, so then once you're able to maybe get to about like 200 beats per minute. Then, after you've double checked your pronunciation so that it's all good, then you're going to want to slow down your audio. And this is what we used a tool called Audacity. It's a free download, and it allows you to slow down the audio and be able to split it up into smaller parts. I split up our song together into smaller parts for you, but I'll show you here how to split up text into smaller parts so that you can study them individually like we did in this course, if you're interested in that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click down here on Audacity, and right here is where we have Audacity. So there's a lot of buttons, it's very overwhelming. You really only have 2 or 3 buttons to remember here in order to do what we want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize my last window. And what you can see here is, again, a lot of buttons, and a blank screen. Okay, so this is kind of like a new project. What you're going to do is go ahead and take your MP3 file that you saved, whether it's on your desktop or wherever it is in your computer. Go ahead and click and drag that onto your desktop, and then click it into your Audacity project. So now it's importing the MP3, and now you can see the wavelength of the song. So I'm going to go ahead and just click play. So you just click anywhere on the page, and then you click play. So I clicked the space bar, and there it started playing the song. You can click the volume up and down, whatever. So now it's playing, and it's at normal speed, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it again. It goes back to where I started. Now we want to slow down this audio in order to practice it better, right? It's really hard to practice this Spanish, native Spanish, when it's extremely fast. So we're going to slow it down. And you can do this with any text, whether it's from RhinoSpike or Forvo or wherever. Whatever audio that you have in an MP3 file, you can slow down in Audacity, which is really cool. So you're going to go ahead and double click on the audio, and then you're going to click up here on Effect, and it'll have a menu below. Go ahead and click on the Change Tempo tab. And then from here you can play around with how slow you want it. I usually go with -15, just because if you go too slow, it sounds really choppy and not real. So -15 is usually a good way to go. Okay, so then it'll load that. And the wavelength just got a little bit longer, which just means everything went slower, obviously. Okay, so now we'll listen to it, and it sounds a little bit slower, and you can see the bar moving a little bit slower than it was before, or at least within that song, within that scale. Okay, so you know how to slow down the song and make changes to the syllables. You've broken down the song into syllables, and now you want to be able to cut the song into little bits and pieces. I think practicing parts of the song is the best. Usually what I just do is kind of go back and just click play again instead of cutting up the song. But it might be a good strategy for you if maybe you're just really focusing in on one part of the song. So I want to show you how to cut the audio. So you're going to go ahead and click the edit button and click clip boundaries, and then click split on wherever you want to do it. So wherever that might be. Okay, so I'm right here. You click on wherever you want to go to. You figure out where that maybe line is in the song. You stop it. Go ahead and click edit. Click clip boundary, split. And then there's a line there. And then you can go ahead and click that audio and click file, just like we were exporting the audio. But now this time you're going to go ahead and click export selected audio. And it'll tell you to save. I'm not going to save it right now just because I already have it, but you'll click save, and that part of the song will be on your desktop. However, if you want to just get the whole song in slow version, go ahead and click everything. So I'm going to go ahead and undo the splits. Okay, so now it's just a normal song. I can highlight the whole song. I'm going to get this onto my phone or wherever you want to put it, but first you have to save it. So click export audio. Save it to your desktop or wherever you want to, name it, and then save it. All right, so that's next step. You know how to slow down the audio in order to practice it more efficiently. Now you're going to want to continually speed that song up in order to get to normal speed. So your goal right now is to be able to practice this perfectly at -15 or -20 maybe. Okay, and then eventually once you have these syllables broken up, you're practicing them with the metronome, you've practiced them at -15, and you've perfected it at -15, then move to -10, then move to -5, and then get to 0 so that you're back to normal for that part of the song. And that is the process for how to learn a song. Now, obviously, we've gone through a lot of different tools for learning the language, such as Rhino Spike, such as Forvo, such as Anki, and those are just examples. But as far as the meat of this course, this is it. And really getting that foundation, and then being able to use that foundation in the context of a song. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you have questions. Go ahead and comment, and I would love to help you out in the process. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.